media system has always supported the ruling class in their narrative. That's not something which is new. But we know from Iraq, Libya, and Syria, not to mention now Israel. But I think that with this war, there has been a great changement in the mediatic propaganda. And the mediatic reaction against anyone who try to question what we are doing or try to question the official narrative was really, really violent. In Ticino, we were attacked very, very hard on several occasions. We were called Putin fanboy and so on, just because we wanted peace.
Welcome to Neutrality Studies. I'm Pascal, and today I'm talking to a countryman of mine from the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, and a special one at that, actually, because Alberto Togni is a member of the political bureau of Switzerland's Communist Party, and he's a member of the municipal parliament of Gordola, which he presided over from 2021 until 2022. Among other achievements, he served as the head of Switzerland's delegation at the World Festival of Youth and Students held in Sochi in 2017, and participated as Communist Party delegate at the China Insight Global Insight Forum concerning the Belt and Road Initiative, which took place in Shenzhen last year. So he's a Swiss and he's thoroughly communist. Alberto, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Pascal, and thank you for the opportunity to discuss with you today.
Well, it's a great pleasure because I think you're actually the first real communist I have on this show. I've talked to a couple of socialists, social democrats, and others. I even talked to people from our right wing as People's Party, right? But never a communist. So let's talk about communism first before we go into security policy, which is going to be the second part of this one. Why are you a communist?
I joined the Communist Party when I was very young, and of course with maybe a little bit of the naive of that age. But however, with the time, I have matured my conviction and commitment. And yes, as you said, since now 5 years, I'm the member of the direction of the party, which we call the political bureau. Apart from, of course, the idea of social justice and equality and the defense of the Swiss national independence, something that unfortunately I no longer found in any other party is the fact that, in my opinion, the Communist Party in Switzerland, I have found a serious way of reading reality and working. It's a party that has completely abandoned any folkloristic and nostalgic approach or way of doing politics. And it's a party that rejects any discourse or speech out of reality. But on the contrary, he tried to seriously analyze the society, both international and local. And we do it so much that even the fiercest political opponent have over the year begun to recognize this characteristic of our party. So I found that at first. And second, I think that thanks to this serious method of work, I believe that the Communist Party is able in our country to identify the political priority of the historic moment and act in that way. For example, now, and this is a particularity of our party, we think that the most important contradiction in society today is the international one, the international situation. And so we really insist in talking about that, about the multipolarism war. We were the first Swiss party, I think, that started to talk about multipolarism like more than 10 years ago when nobody talked about that. And we think that we are entering a new historical phase that will bring unprecedented change, especially for our part of the world. And so we try to put the political priority on our agenda, no matter what what other reality we have to collaborate to, and so on.
Yeah, maybe
But
maybe just to let everybody know, since Switzerland is a multi-party system, right? We
yeah,
have several parties, not only in parliament but in government as well, and the Communist Party is a small one, but and of course left of the Social Democrats.
yeah,
Um, so and we got in touch because you, as you correctly said, you have a very realist approach toward international relations, and you actually support Switzerland's neutrality and the neutrality initiative, which has been started a while ago and which I also support. Whereas the other parties, especially the Social Democrats and the Greens and the others, they don't want to talk about this, and they actually go in a very different direction. I feel like from what I see. For instance, I couldn't motivate any of them to join this push for this neutrality initiative. On the contrary, and you do. Why is that?
yeah. Yeah, maybe I can contextualize a little bit our party in Swiss history. The first Swiss Communist Party born in the 20th century, in the 20 years, but then during the World War II, where was banned. And our party was born in 1944. And there is a curiosity that I think it's interesting for our discussion today, that unlike the rest of the international communist movement, which in those years it's already started to side more or less explicitly in favor of Soviet Union and then the Warsaw Pact. Our party developed already in the first year a very clear and sharp speech in favor of Swiss neutrality. So we always talk about Swiss neutrality's independence, even at cost of having some disagreement with the rest of the Communist Party around the world. In the 1990, with the crisis of the international communist movement, especially in the Western world, our party also suffered this blow, and there were new influence affecting the whole left. In fact, before the 90s, there were already some influence, but after the fall of the Soviet Union and so on, this difficulty, and which were combined with the Swiss reality, which, as you know, it's a federalist country with very different coexisting cultural and linguistic background, leads to a phenomena of disintegration of this party. And in Ticino, in the southern part of Switzerland, we changed our name from Labour Party, which was the original name of the party, to Communist Party. And in 2014, we went from being the regional section of this party to a total independent party. And now from southern Switzerland, we started to organize in other regions of Switzerland too. But to reply to your question, I think that today there is great confusion in the left movement, in green and social democratic movement. We see that not only in Switzerland, in fact, in all the Western country, in my opinion. Sometimes, and this is very horrible to see, we heard that it's the left party that want to export army, that want to apply sanction. And I think this is a political crisis that started a lot of years ago, and now with the change of the international order and all the consequences, this is going to this confusion in the Swiss in the Swiss and in the Western left is only growing, and and there is a lot of confusion, and this is problematic in my opinion, very problematic.
Were you ever in touch with other communists from abroad, like from other countries? And you said that there's a tension because the communist movement, the old one, is famous, of course, wanting to have a communist international. The whole idea is that everybody will move toward communism eventually. Therefore, communism itself doesn't lend itself ideologically very much to a neutral position. But you're saying like the Swiss Communist Party is carving that position out. What is the reaction of other countries' communist movements when they hear that?
In fact, I have to say that the Communist Party in other country, first, they really respect our position and they understand it for our historical background and the Swiss historical background, which is good. And I also have to admit that from the beginning of the war, the Communist Party in the western part of the world, except from some exception, they they adapt an interesting position in regarding the Ukraine-Russian war. So the problem today is more the Social Democrat and the Green Party, which totally lose the totally lose the capacity to analyze reality. Yeah, but regarding specific neutrality, I have never heard Communist Party that argue with that in this year. In the past, it was different. Yeah.
Mm. So is the modern Communist Party of Switzerland the one that you're working on and building on? Is it already represented in all the 26 cantons or not yet?
No, we are mainly organized in southern part, Italian-speaking part, where we also are in the institution, in the local parliament, and so on. But no, we are mainly organized in some canton in the French part, French-speaking part, and now we are starting to be present in the German part. But no, not in all 26.
Yeah, but
But
you
yeah.
already have an impact, especially when it comes to foreign policy, because you're pushing very hard for, well, this neutrality initiative, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit. Like, it is people. Switzerland is difficult to make sense of because people who are firmly in the camp of let's support Ukraine and give it whatever it needs and whatever it takes to fight to the last Ukrainian to defeat Russia. Those people, they don't understand why Switzerland doesn't send weapons and doesn't collaborate more. And people like me who are in the other one is like, no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't make this war any worse. We should actually push for immediate negotiations. Is what should have happened from the beginning. And the Mearsheimer kind of types, they don't understand why Switzerland is putting sanctions on Russia, even absolutely useless ones, and is so firmly ideologically in the camp of the West when it would make much more sense to be more independent. How do you make sense of the current situation?
In particular in Switzerland, I think that uh, we have a ruling class which I think that already started some years ago to push for a further development of both NATO and European Union collaboration. And we have also the mediatic system that, in my opinion, is doing a very, very hard and violent work to change people opinion. Yeah, media system has always supported the ruling class in their narrative. That's not something which is new. But yeah, we know from Iraq, Libya, and Syria, not to mention now Israel. But I think that with this war, there has been a great changement in the mediatic propaganda. And the mediatic reaction against anyone who try to question what we are doing or try to question the official narrative was really, really violent. In Ticino, we were attacked very, very hard on several occasions. We were called Putin fanboy and so on, just because we wanted peace. And there are different reply, in my opinion. The first, it's part of the ruling class want to take part in this new international conflict on the side of NATO, United States, European Union. They want to do that. On the other side, I think that the population has seen their standard of living go down because of sanction. The population is also tired of see lie, of see war, and all that kind of thing. And so I think that the harder they don't want to, for example, join NATO, the harder they don't want to apply sanction, the harder they don't want this war to continue, the more the propaganda became strong because they want to prepare population for war, in my opinion, and to accept further worsening of the situation in the West world, especially.
So
Uh,
in a sense, what's going on in Switzerland, at least on the elite level, is very similar to what we are seeing going on in Germany, in France, and in the UK, where we have a consensus, elite level consensus, that then permeates through the media that, Russia is an enemy and Russia needs to be fought and Russia cannot be negotiated with, and therefore we must do everything, including preparing for war. And Switzerland is captured in the same kind of mental narrative, right?
yeah, completely agree. And but I think that the ruling class, it's not completely united. For example, we see that in Switzerland, the SVP, the Swiss People's Party, it's really tried to defend the Swiss neutrality. But yeah, most of the ruling class uh, will do that at any cost. And I think that this is very dangerous because apart from the neutrality discussion, um, it creates an atmosphere of tension, of suspicion in Switzerland. And I think that this preparation of society for war will create also a repressive climate in our country with possible authoritarian turns. And this is a problem. And the main problem, in my opinion, is that through the whole Europe, including Switzerland, except from some communist party which are not very strong and big, but the left force is totally not ready to cope with this new reality. Uh, some leftist party are among the main supporters of sanctions, as I already said. Other left party, on the other hand, do not understand that the world is changing and what consequence this will bring, and they waste time on ultra specific and minority discussion, which they are not the priority. And yeah, this is a problem because I think that with the fact that we have a ruling class, which in my opinion, the level of this ruling class is every year worsening, this is not good for Switzerland and for the whole Europe in itself for the future to come. Yeah.